Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ask a Scientist, Ask a Nurse. My name is Pat Lopez. Today is Friday, January 29th, and I've got Dr. Susan Hoffman with me again today. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Today, we want to talk about a question that's been on the minds of a lot of folks. Earlier, we made a video on long-term effects of the vaccine, if any, or concerns that people might have about that. But we've had in the back of our minds to make a video about potential like acute reactions. So reactions that people get within the first 24 to 48 hours post injection from the vaccine. And it seems really relevant because a lot of us are eligible to get the vaccine at this point. So I think you've been vaccinated, Susan, right?
Yes, I had my first vaccination. I've been waiting and looking online almost every obsessively to get my second one.
Right, yeah, and same with me. I was lucky enough to get a first dose. And did you have any reaction to it?
I did. I did. I had that what they call a COVID arm. It was very sore,
Okay,
and I had a rash. And with that, I did have a little bit of a fever,
okay,
but I took some Tylenol. And within 24 hours, it was completely gone, including the sore arm.
okay,
But when I looked at my arm, I could see that it was reddened there for a few days. But
okay,
when I touched it, it didn't hurt.
okay.
So
So I got I didn't take any kind of medicine, but I did notice that it was quite sore the next day. And actually for 2 days. So it was sore for 48 hours. Every time I moved it was achy and sore, but I didn't get any other symptoms whatsoever. And then it was completely gone. But what I wanted to specifically address is a very specific question that came in related to this, and that is whether that acute reaction is correlated to how effective the vaccine is going to be in a person. And the setup for that, what the person was asking is, as by way of example, she was saying that when her 90-year-old grandmother was vaccinated, her grandma had absolutely no reaction to it
mm,
whatsoever, not even a sore arm,
mm,
which incidentally was the same for my 85-year-old mother. She didn't feel it going in, and she didn't feel anything for any amount of time afterwards. But the person herself came down with flu-like symptoms, and so quite a serious reaction. And she was wondering whether that was an indication of how effective the vaccine might be in her.
well, no. In fact, everyone, and it depends on your age and it depends on a lot of things, but many people react to that first inflammatory response differently. Some people have a little bit more of a response, and some people not so much. Um, it's the same as if you get a road rash. Some people gets really inflamed, and some people it's not that big of a deal. It's really with the vaccination itself, is even if you didn't feel it, it causes tissue injury, and your body is reacting to that. It says, oh, there are things that are foreign, there's some tissue injury. So it reacts to try and limit that. And it does that by making it really inflamed. And it just depends on some people have a less marked inflammatory response. And it just so happens that as we age, especially into our great years, the inflammatory response is less pronounced, less fever, less swelling, less pain. Pain goes along with that swelling. And
And
so
even the low-grade fever and things like that, right?
yes, all of those are inflammatory responses. Now, your part of your immune system that manufactures the antibodies, it does communicate with the innate immune response. There is a communication there, but that's silent. That does not need an inflammatory response to raise an antibody response.
So just to be clear here, if we were explaining this to our students in a biology course, we would, describe the immune system as basically being two separate but connected systems, right? The innate immune system and the adaptive immune system. And what we want people to understand is that the vaccine is intended to stimulate a response of the adaptive immune system. In other words, the production of antibodies. But the innate immune system, that's the everyday thing that, just kind of patrols the body and does things like, make the eye gunk that you wake up with sometimes because your white blood cells
and
have been,
earwax.
yeah, and all of that kind of stuff, just the regular
And
kind of stuff. And so it's the innate immune system that is, sort of sounding the alarm and doing that initial response versus the adaptive immune system. And that's why it's not an the degree of response of your innate immune system is not an indication of how powerful your adaptive immune response is going to be.
correct.
There you
Now
go.
we need both.
Yeah.
We can't do without.
Right.
And the innate immune system, it's going to react against anything. It's not going to wait. It's like, this is not part of me. Just like if you've had stitches after a week or so, you're like, man, I want to get these out, even though they're sterile.
Itch. Yeah.
And so that's your innate immune response. Now, some people don't get itchy when their stitches come out.
Because
it just depends. Everyone's got a little bit different response to that innate immune system.
So in other words, the difference is, the innate immune system is stimulated when you get a vaccination because it's been poked, as you said, there's tissue damage. It's the needle poke, it's the stuff going into the arm. But what the vaccine, the way the vaccine is going to work is by provoking an adaptive immune response.
Correct.
By making, stimulating the body to produce antibodies.
Correct. So let's be clear. We have an innate immune response. Everybody does, and everybody needs it. Not everybody reacts to inflammation the same way. Right. Some people, but everybody has an innate immune response. Everybody, whether they have an inflammatory response or not.
Got it.
Same thing with the adaptive immune system. The adaptive immune system is communicating with that innate immune system to see what the invader is. Is it something that needs to be
and that's addressed? The bridge between the two systems, right?
That's the bridge between the two systems. So your antibody response is quiet and is going. Right. There's no inflammation associated with it. The way that they can tell it's working is they would have to draw and then do an antibody level. So you can't say,
feel it happening.
100% you're immune. You can't feel it happening. Right. Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Susan. I think that was enlightening.
Welcome.
We hope that was helpful. Thanks.